Hey guys, how's it going? It's Clarissa with That Dumb Movie Show, and I'm doing Avengers Infinity War. It's actually happening, just like I promised, but I am fighting the sunset right now, so I'm gonna have to try and rush through this as fast as I can, I'm sorry. So, serious word of warning first. It's gonna be in the title, but I will repeat it here again. There will be spoilers. Spoilers. Gonna be spoilers, spoilers. Spoilers, 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 spoilers. It just makes no sense to me because there are a lot of emotions flying around and a lot to discuss, and at the same time I'm not going to be rattling through it point by point explaining everything because there's people on here who have already done that and done it much better than I ever could. The thing is, right off the bat, I'm not even quite sure how to talk about this film or even how I really feel about it, which, to soothe any concerns, I did really enjoy it. It's just that any of the usual things I focus on when talking about a piece of film feel a little irrelevant here. You know, things like, I don't know, like character development or thematic qualities or just, you know, narrative pacing of beginning, middle, and end. Infinity War just doesn't play by any traditional rule set, which, for example, if you have not kept up to date with the MCU, then you are screwed, plain and simple, which, if anyone watching this did actually go and see Infinity War without having seen many of the previous Marvel films, I would genuinely love to know what you thought or how you survived that. This movie really doesn't explain anything, and I thought I would actually be relatively okay, but it is a big ask of my tiny little brain for me to remember what happened to Red Skull at the end of Captain America: The First Avenger, which, for anyone who might be wondering, it's that he put his bare-ass hands on the Tesseract, and obviously the Tesseract contains the Space Stone, and that opened up a wormhole and he was catapulted to Vormir, where the Soul Stone is, and now he's the caretaker of it, and he turned into a Dementor for some reason, and I feel like no one actually really understands that scene. But anyways, I think my greater point that I'm trying to get to here is that Infinity War feels less like a film and more like part one of a season finale for a TV show, which is interesting because TV has been getting more cinematic. Maybe films are going to start getting more televisual in response, and really it works because it's building on 10 years of emotional investment that we've had with these characters. And this film is cashing in all that emotional investment at one time. It's really much less about bringing new ideas to the table, much more about bringing all those existing ideas to a close, which is kind of what a series finale does. So I don't think it's particularly surprising that so much of how you approach and appreciate Infinity War is going to depend on your existing relationship with the MCU. So if you're a hardcore fan, yeah, it's gonna pay off emotionally tenfold, and I think that in itself is really incredible, and I don't know if any other franchise has really attempted anything this ambitious. You know, you have all these histories just colliding together. You have the history of the Guardians with Thanos, you have the history of Avengers with Thanos, you have Wakanda opening its doors to the world for the first time, you have, you know, Thor just trying to reintegrate himself into the world after his Ragnarok makeover. It's all done in a very satisfying way because Disney and the Russo brothers, they know what fans want. They know that they want Iron Man and Doctor Strange bickering, that they want Thor and Star-Lord having a bro-off, and it really should feel like fan service, but it doesn't, and I think that's because Disney and Marvel Studios just has such a strong grip on this universe. They really understand the logic of that. I think is what's really pushed them to succeed beyond a lot of other studios, because they do know when they can take risks, when they can hire a Taika Waititi or a Ryan Coogler, versus when they need the Russo brothers to come in and make sure that all those styles slot neatly in with each other. You know, it's kind of like puzzle pieces, and I think what is so surprising about Infinity War is that those puzzle pieces do fit in together quite nicely. The styles don't clash as much as you would think they would. But now to clock in with Infinity War's kind of very expected major issue, that if you have been invested for 10 years, then yes, it's incredible. The people that I know who are hardcore MCU fans looked afterwards as if they'd been through a semi-religious experience. But then that's where we bring in little old me, who... There are MCU films that I absolutely adore. I love the first Guardians movie, I love Thor Ragnarok, I love Black Panther, but the rest of it I have more of a distance appreciation for, and Infinity War really doesn't offer anything to build on that. If I wasn't particularly invested in Doctor Strange before, then there's nothing to convince me otherwise here. Although I will say one thing I did like is how the Guardians were treated here, because I did find that Volume 2 had a slight emo quality to it that I wasn't crazy about, and I liked that they were just back to being kooky and weird here, and especially Mantis, who's so underused in that film, and she gets to flourish here, and she's becoming one of my favourite characters in the MCU, so I loved that. I guess, I don't know, I guess the simplest way to phrase it is that you really take out of this movie what you bring into it, and so everybody was so sad about Loki, and I was just sat there going, where is Valkyrie? Where is she? And where is Korg? Where is Meek? Why are they not printing pamphlets? The other kind of issue I had with this film, and I know there's going to be a lot of disagreement, but hear me out, because I feel like Marvel's control over its own universe meant it shot itself slightly in the foot with that ending, because I will admit, as I was watching it, I did feel shock and it did feel strange and exciting, but as the credits started to roll, my brain immediately went, well, okay, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, these guys are definitely all getting sequels, and you're trying to tell me that they're dead. Where is the peril here? They're definitely not gone forever, and it just feels kind of telling that the next film is Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they're probably going to go into the quantum realm where time doesn't matter. Paige and Captain Marvel, hope you like time travel! And obviously it's largely my fault because I do keep up to date with MCU news, and I'm not expecting everyone to immediately remember that the quantum realm exists, but I just feel like, who is watching Black Panther turn into ash and going, well, we're definitely never seeing that moneymaker again. See you never, T'Challa. You know, it just feels like a slightly odd way to leave a cliffhanger, and I feel like if the MCU were less invested in hyping its own future, that ending could have had a little bit more impact. And you know, that even extends to Gamora's death, which I know makes so much sense in the narrative, but because she's such a cog in the MCU machinery, I actually felt a little bit angry because I just thought, what about the Guardians? I mean, what about them? Like, they've just lost their straight man. She didn't manage to get much of a narrative within those two movies. And also, like, the Guardians used to only have one girl and then they got a new girl, but then they got rid of the original girl. So is there some kind of rule where they can only have one girl in the Guardians at one time? And like, these should not be concerns about Infinity War, but because that film is such a product of so many other things, those concerns end up being kind of inescapable. So I don't know, it's like the MCU being such a behemoth is both what I loved about Infinity War, which is 10 years of consistent storytelling reaching this climactic point, which is just incredible and fascinating to me as someone who loves storytelling, but it's also the point at which I disconnected a little bit, because I just feel like you can see the cogs turning. You know, for Disney it is a logical puzzle, and the way that it's all brought together is so clever, but at the same time you can still see the workings. You can still see the little mind map of getting everyone from point A to point B so that Chris Evans can get out of his contract. But what I really want to know is what you guys thought of Avengers Infinity War, because I feel like there are many interesting discussions to be had, so let me know down in the comments. And also, you can like and subscribe and we can hang out and talk about movies. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye!